Hello everybody, and welcome back to learning the acoustic guitar. On the last one we talked about the Mixolydian scale, and just getting into either writing your own song, covering your song, or just kind of getting used to your guitar. But now what we're going to do is go through I told you most of their major songs just written with a couple simple chords. So I'm just going to show you a couple simple chord progressions. The first one, the chords we are going to use are what I was just playing for you, used A minor, D minor, and E minor. They're in very common chords in standard position. So to play the A minor chord on the B string, that's your second, the one right up from the low E string, your index finger is on the first fret. And then your middle finger and your ring finger both go on the second fret of the G and the B strings. Alright, and the D and the G strings, these two middle ones. And that's A minor. Now D minor is you go from your index finger, I'm going to try to teach you the transitions here, but you take your index finger and you switch all the notes at the same time. Your index finger goes to the first fret of the low or the high E string. Your pinky finger goes to the third fret of the second string, this guy, the B string, and your middle finger goes to the second fret of the G string. And you play I think this D minor is a 4-note chord, so you only play the lower 4 strings. But if you play your left-hand thumb is going to be muting the low E. But if you strum all 6 strings, you still get the sound of the chord. But it's really only the lower 4. And you can hear it's much brighter. And then the low E, or the E minor chord, is just your middle finger and your ring finger go to the second fret of the A and the D string. E minor, A minor, D minor. And I'll play with the metronome and show you, just go through slow. Just tap your foot if you want and just play on every downbeat. And you can hear it's the bing. Switch. Switch. You can hear I messed it up a little bit one time there. But again, that's where you start. Put on your metronome, grab a note, grab a chord, 3 chords, and just slow it down and make sure you hit it perfect on every single note. And again, that's the way, if you hear a song you say, wow, it sounds complicated, or how do they play? Nobody plays fast. Everyone plays that. Everything that sounds fast is just precisely played and precisely practiced. And so that's a good minor chord progression. And it's very, very common. Now the other one I wanted to show you is a major chord progression. And I think this is D major, and you have your index finger on the second fret of the G string, your ring finger on the third fret of the B string, and your middle finger on the second fret of the high E string. And that's D major. And now, okay, so I honestly don't want to mess this up, but I think this is C add 9. And so you'll see a lot of different chord names, but I'll do an episode about building a chord, but the C add 9, I would say, is actually easier for a beginner to play than the standard C chord, which has you there, I believe. Which the standard, the straight C chord is your index finger on the first fret of the B string, your middle finger on the second fret on the D string, and your ring finger on the third fret of the A string. That's your standard C. Now, a lot of people will transition to a G chord, and that's where you have your middle finger goes to the second fret of the A string, your ring finger goes to the third fret of the low E string, and your pinky finger goes to the third fret of the high E string. And in my opinion, that's a harder transition than from the D major to the C add 9 and the G add 9. Or definitely should try both of the positionings out, but for a beginner player, for me personally, it was easier to do the add 9 positions than just to do the regular chords. Yeah, that's a major chord progression, and I use that in a lot of my different songs. And there you have it. Those are some common chord progressions.